Kenya is a country in eastern Africa with a population of 34 million people. In the early 1990s, Kenya was severely impacted by the AIDS virus. As a result, by 2003, there were over 650,000 orphan children in Kenya due to AIDS. The St. Francis Integrated School in a suburb of Nairobi was one of the many children's homes that sprung up throughout Kenya to care for the orphan children. Some were government-run. St. Francis was not. Terribly underfunded, the children's home struggled to meet the basic needs of its 240 young residents. There was little food and poor primary school teaching on site. Its one advantage was its location near a famous luxury hotel known as Giraffe Manor. Guests who asked were often taken to visit St. Francis and hardly ever left without leaving behind some money or supplies. My family did the same. But in April 2007, the Kenyan government intervened and closed St. Francis, citing repeated health code violations as the reason. Supporters of the children at St. Francis from 3 countries, United States, Great Britain, and Australia, met in Kenya to discuss ways to help. A plan was hatched. The youngest children would be returned to their home villages and placed with responsible guardians, while the older children would be given the chance to go to secondary schools. Money was raised for these 25 children, and African Kids in Need was born. Now, nearly 2 years later, Akin has admitted 63 students into the program, all former residents of St. Francis Children's Home. There's a small full-time staff handling the daily operations from a rented office in Nairobi. Recently, 3 members of the U.S. Board of Directors, me, Paul Miller, Jan Black, and Phyllis Berger, traveled to Kenya to get a first-hand look at the program in action and to see for themselves the impact it is having on the lives of these children.
There were 5 of us in the van as we drove from the city into the countryside over narrow dirt roads. Walter Angala, the Akin project manager in Kenya, was behind the wheel. We stopped abruptly at a junction where Julius Chege and his mother were waiting. Julius's footlocker was loaded into the back of the van while he and his mother climbed onto the seat. We were taking Julius to his first day of boarding school, and like any concerned parent, his mother wanted to meet the people now responsible for her only son's welfare and visit the school where he would be living for the next 4 years. We arrived at Tarasha Secondary School, and Julius became silent and serious. As he was being checked into the school, he turned to me and said, "I have a big pain in my stomach." I assured Julius that it was normal to feel anxious. This was all new to him, and no doubt the other first-year boys were experiencing the same feelings. His mother never took her eyes off Julius. As a mother myself, I realized that it was a courageous step for her to let go of her son, a step she willingly took so that he could have a better future. Watching him, she seemed content that all would be well. 18-year-old Marianne lives in a 1-room dung hut with her 2 very young brothers. They are all orphans living with their grandmother who has dementia. We were taking Marianne to Nairobi, where she will enroll in Nairobi Girls Training School, learning practical skills which will prepare her for further vocational training and a career to support herself and her brothers. But first, arrangements had to be made for someone to look after the young boys. The grandmother could not be trusted. We crossed a field and came to a neighbor's house. The couple had pitched in before by providing shelter and food during difficult times. Walter explained the situation, and the family agreed to take responsibility for the boys. The little boys silently cried when they realized that their sister was leaving. For a moment it was heartbreaking, but then Walter intervened again and the boys were comforted. Without the opportunity offered by Akin, the cycle of poverty and lack of education would continue. Now, Marianne will have a chance to provide for all of them.
Educating Kenyan children is the mission of the African Kids in Need program. We also provide clothing, uniforms, personal items such as bar soap, toothpaste, and sanitary napkins to make sure their medical needs are met. These children are well aware of what life could be without this opportunity.
I think that if I could not have this opportunity, I could be one of the children who are there, who are just there in the street, searching for labor, like housemaids.
School, to me, I know is a stepping stone towards the world of my dreams, and I believe that through school I'm going to make it in life, of which I'm hoping to become a surgeon. I promise I'll never disappoint you, nor will I break your hearts.
Last November, 11 of our first-year students graduated from 2-year vocational training programs, and we visited them on our trip to Kenya. 3 boys, Samuel, Vincent, and Joseph, applied the skills they learned in vocational training and received apprenticeships with a construction company in Nairobi. They love their jobs and look forward to one day having their own business. They have all opened bank accounts, they've started saving the money they earn, and Samuel's first purchase was a bicycle that he and Joseph used to get to work every morning, one riding on the back as the other pedals. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, 8 of the Akin Vocational School female graduates have gone on to beauty college. It's a 6-month program that will earn them a certificate and help them build up a clientele to start a business, earning more money than anyone in their family ever has. Margaret Wenjui told us what this means to her.
Akin program have done a lot in my life. I can't deny that you are the one who have made me to be the way I am, that you have helped me from my state where I could not imagine I could have come from, and you have made me somebody. I thank you all.
You must be totally alive when walking through Kibera. All your senses need to be functioning at high speed. Your safety depends on it. Winding our way through the maze of narrow alleyways, sidestepping fetid water and human waste, alert for pickpockets, we hurriedly walked to meet a new student, Eunice, her infant twin brothers, and her mother, Josephina. Eventually, we reached their home, a 6-foot by 6-foot aluminum-sided shanty with no windows, electricity, or running water. Josephina came to Kibera 6 years ago in search of a better life.
I didn't finish my education due to lack of school fees. Eunice will live a better life than me after our school. Thanks for King's people for helping me just to send Eunice to school so that she can have a better life in the future.
When we talked to Eunice about joining her older sister Rhoda at boarding school in the upcoming week, her face lights up and suddenly she becomes the 11-year-old child she was meant to be.
I'm looking forward to getting some new uniforms, books, and also some butter biscuits.
She has listened to her sister talk about life at the school, which has grassy lawns and is teeming with young girls like herself.
I want to tell the people of Akin, I'm so very excited to see them for helping me and my sister, because if they aren't there, we would not continue with the school. So I'm very happy for them, and God bless them so much.
What we saw in Kenya was hope. For every young person that has become part of our Akin program, hope is the word that synthesizes the sentiment expressed by each one of them. Our participation has given these 63 boys and girls a belief that they will not be doomed to a life of poverty, deprivation, and invisibility. Their gratefulness and pure joy at being able to attend secondary school as a result of the generosity of all of our friends who have contributed to educating these children is boundless. It definitely does take a village to raise a child, especially in Africa. We thank you for being part of our village, African Kids in Need.
If you'd like to help support the work of African Kids in Need in Kenya, please visit our website at www.africankidsinneed.org. All donations are completely tax deductible.